Hey, out there. Nobody's watching yet, but it's Rick, and we're getting ready for the live stream. It's supposed to start in 10 minutes. If you're watching on replay, everybody will start in a few minutes. I'm just getting ready. So hang out. There you go. I knew some of you were already sneaking in early. It's okay. I'm just getting ready on all this. And you want to be, Roger already has first question or statement. Hail to the Redskins forever. Yeah, this Commanders thing. They can call it that. That doesn't mean you have to say it too. There's no thought police out there. Just getting ready. Three of you are already here. Man, some of you guys are sneaking up on me. I'm supposed to do some kind of fun intro and sort of like the previews for movies. That's too much work. And I sound raspy as all because I'm just getting over summer cold. Luckily, one COVID just shows you how easily any of these things can come along. And today the 15th, yeah, okay. I lose track of what day it is anymore. Okay. I'm just lining up stuff. Be nice to know the stats and bring them up here with me. And we're going to talk about lots of fun things, including I am dropping a video after this show of OnlyFans kind of parody. So you don't want to miss that either on YouTube, where you get the whole story. Let me start this so the algorithm's happy with me. Welcome to Rick Snyder's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, even hit the thanks button. That makes the algorithm happy. Then it shows more people all of this. Otherwise, I wouldn't say it. And if I could find a sponsor, I'd go brought to you by. But anybody out there got a business you want to promote? We can talk on all this. And I'm just pulling up the stats. So we're ready. I know I'm supposed to have you in a waiting room or something. I don't know how to do any of that. And let's see. A few years ago, somebody asked me if I knew how to send email. It's like, how old do I look? Yeah, I know how to send email. Wow. I did start on manual typewriters. So I guess it's not a totally unfair question to ask. And Roger loves the show. Good, because I'm just sitting here BSing for 5 minutes. I'll get ready. And good day to everybody. It's Monday, right? Yeah. It's weird when they play on Saturdays and all. I get in such a rhythm during the season because I've been doing football for so long. So when the game's not on Sunday, it throws off everything. Hey, Abe, glad to see you're back. Steve's back. Good. You can always read the whiteboard. But I appreciate everybody that's chipping in. Kind of helps a little bit. I'm just an old pensioner now. I'm like the guy in The Godfather. I'm just a pensioner, investor living on a pensioner, whatever the heck he said. And then they shot him. So, that was Godfather 3. And there it is. Is this my last year? I don't know yet. That's a good question. People ask me that. Maybe. I can retire if I want. So, but then what would I do? So, I can't. We're still having some fun. I'm still doing this. All right, let's see. Oh, good, 6 of you. All right. Well, okay. Technically, the show is supposed to go. I just wanted to pull up stats because I know people were going to ask me this. I can't remember scores that well. I thought they were going to win the other day. I thought we were going to see another Colt Brennan, kind of thing, Babe Laufenberg, those kind of things. I know I'm missing somebody else that would do that. That would be, I like Howell a lot. I have said Sam Howell will be the starter for this team at some point. When it is, I don't know. I thought the talk of this is developmental year for Sam Howell. He'll just sit and watch. I'm like, does nobody remember Dwayne Haskins' rookie year? I mean, come on. This is like 3 years ago. You forgot that they said the same thing. Guy ended up playing half the games. Now, I know the owner got involved, whatever, but things happen. Things happen all the time. So, no, I would not say Sam Howell is just going to sit this year and watch. And that's crazy talk. You just never know. I mean, injuries, mostly stuff like that. But you just never know. Okay, so we're talking about need a linebacker. I guess that's really the linebacker's not going to decide what this defense rises or fall. It's going to be the line and the secondary and the offense keeping teams off the field. So, that's the big thing. So Abe wants to know how long does it take me to write a story? Depends on how long the story is and who's the client and all those kind of things. But anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes mostly. I mean, I think I figured out one day I've written about 18,000 stories in my life, more or less. So I'm a little fast. I type as fast as I think. So there's a limit to how fast I can go. But I just type as I go. So I will write stories and people ask me, well, how did you do it? I don't know, man. I'm in the middle of writing it. I don't have that kind of thought process there. It just kind of comes out, doing it. And for me, it's typing. But if I had to dictate a whole story off the top of my head, I couldn't do it. That's a different brainwave that hits. So it's not about the time it takes to type a story. It's about the time invested in the story that you might take all day. So it's all different things. All right. Sorry, I've got a cold for those of you coming in. All right. So we got a few people. So welcome to the show. What is it, 8 o'clock? Yeah. You got an hour. You can ask anything you want. I may not answer it, but, we'll try. After the show, I'm going to drop a video on Twitter and YouTube about OnlyFans. It's supposed to be funny, and, you're going to be surprised. So hang out after the show's over, and then I'll hit it so everybody can go, what? Yeah, I think I lost my mind. Hey, Jacob, back to you. Bring back Colin, says Roger. Well, that ain't happening. They're not going to do it. What's an ETA book? Talk to the publisher today. Okay, so this is the last version. The 100 Things Redskins fans should know and do before they die. It came out 8 years ago. I updated it in the offseason when the publisher called and said, you want to do it? Make it Commanders. 5 new chapters, replacing 5 old ones, updated the whole book. It's a revised edition. So if you bought this, thank you very much. But the new one will be out officially September 13th. Supply chain problems. I asked about this today about when could I get my books and, sell them to you guys direct. And he said, well, and I heard that enough. I'm having a house built. Every time I want to ask about something, well, and yet I'm not allowed to be late, but everybody else is. So September 13th, more or less. And I'll have my website up, Monumental Thoughts. You'll see a spot where you can just hit the link and order it if you want it autographed. Otherwise, you can go to Amazon or whatever. All right, Nick, where do I stand on Antonio Gibson? Not in his way, that's for sure. But no, I really think Robinson's it. I've thought that for a while. Gibson is a stopgap guy, sort of like a Skip Hicks or somebody that can do it for you in the short term, but he's not the guy that you really want. And I think that they're going to go to Robinson because he's good. Jacob says, why is the DC so bad on third downs? Yeah, that's a great question because they gave up 3 straight in that long drive. Boy, the other day looked familiar, didn't it? Down 10-0. I mean, yeah, they got a short field, but that was a hell of a throw and that touchdown. You couldn't stop that one. But they gave up a 13-play drive at the beginning. This is maddening kind of stuff. I thought Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen did a great job in the interior of the line penetrating. The secondary still kind of looks around at each other a little bit too much. So that's something you got to do. It is perplexing. Amelia thinks Jamin Davis worries him. I don't know. I saw him shed a blocker on one play and made an open field tackle that saved a touchdown. That was pretty nice. He did a couple other things. I think he's getting better. Just got to be a little more patient. Let's see. Steve, is there an indication of whether Snyder is planning to stay a bit hidden this year? I guess so. And here's a question for you, because I didn't get a chance to look when I was at the game the other day, but I don't think he was there. But I don't know. Does anybody know for sure? Because you guys watch TV on there. I'm okay with him being absent in exile. It's less stuff. Not that he can't pick up a phone and call the team and make them do whatever he wants them to do. Steve says, is there any indication of whether Snyder's – okay, I'm sorry. Just did that one. Okay, and hey to Robbie G. Ayush, do you think the D-line or defense in general will perform more like 2020 or just more like 21? I think more like 2020. I don't think they'll go, off the rails as long as they're healthy. But I don't think Chase is back till end of October, something like that, this season. And that'll help when he comes back, hopefully. Robbie G, can someone explain how Ron thinks his return game will improve without any special team such? Yeah, man, those 2 kickoff decisions were horrible. Why did they let the last guy go? I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to go. But that was, man, they need a returner. Let's see. So Steve says they didn't show Snyder. I don't think he was there. All right, so Michael says Snyder is still officially barred from team activities. True, but he can attend games, according to Roger Goodell's double secret probation rules. So I don't know why else he isn't back. Supposedly on business, whatever that means. Abe says, I feel that Wentz's readability, there will be some longer drives this year, so that should help the D. Yeah, absolutely. When you go 4 and out, this guy's got to go back out there and rest, hit it again. That doesn't do any good. And it allows him to jump early and get a lot of points. Alton. Well, all right. Thanks, Alton. Glad to see you're back. Do you have any intense or difficult interviews with players in all of your years of reporting? Oh, man. Yeah. And, oh, yeah. I mean, I've heard the F word at me. I mean, I sometimes have to write tough stories about things and they don't like it. And I always ask players if they're upset, they go, hey, man, I don't like what you write. I said, what part? Well, I didn't read it. Well, somebody told me, no, man, read the story. And if you have a grief, I am glad to discuss it with them man to man, which is not what I liked about what happened last week with the team president tweeting stuff. That's when you go in the back room and yell at each other and work it out. I don't like doing this stuff on social media like that. You'll never see me do that publicly. Paul asks, what kind of grass is that on the field? Green. I don't know. I forget. I heard the name. I live about 20 miles from there. Growing grass around here is hard. But they had a monster truck rally, so that was new sod on there. Let's see. And did I go on the field after the game? No, I was working. I saw they had other people who were like sweet holders or gold, whatever others got to come out. Dunkin' Donut says, Rick Schneider, question for you. What do you think about having a ginger quarterback? Why would I care about that? Okay. Ann Margaret, a quarterback. She's the only. Okay, you guys. All right. Don't do anything dumb here, or else I have to knock you out. Knock you out of the board, not knock you out personally. Okay. So, what worried me the most during the games? Yush. Well, they ran out of soda, and I was kind of upset about that. Nothing worried me per se. I mean, because it's the first game. Worried me that there's no fans in the stands. I just thought, man, where is everybody? There, it said 44,000 paid attendance. What they have gone to is saying, instead of just attendance, they say paid attendance, because people like me keep writing BS. And so, okay, maybe you did sell 44,000 tickets with the season ticket holders. I won't dispute that. But there was like 11,000 or so there. I mean, I can't always see everybody hidden in the concourse, but there wasn't much. So, and I'd say good 3,000 were Panthers fans, which means 8,000 Commanders fans on the best Saturday weather you'll ever have in August in this town. And people say, well, it was a nice day. People had things to do. I remember when things to do involved this team. I remember 40, 50,000 at preseason games. I could see 15,000 at scrimmages several times in years past. So that's a little worrisome there that it's going to be another real low attendance year, which means not as many people want to talk to me and watch the team and all that. But if they start winning, people come back. I want to say, where do I get to sit? We are now in the corner above the tunnel where the players come out. So we used to be at midfield forever, and then Dan Snyder came in and said, "Why do these guys have the seats? I can sell this for a lot more." That's true. I saw it all happen, and he was going to put us in the upper deck until I made a point of you would need an express elevators dedicated to us, which cost more than $1 million each back then. He said, "No, we don't." I said, "The Americans with Disabilities Act requires that you have this for any media." And they were yelling, "You don't have anybody in the media." It doesn't mean anything. The ADA rules are for everybody, and we have had people at times. So for years, they wouldn't even let us use the elevators to walk back up from the downstairs. You had to go 6 flights of stairs. And we have some older people, especially me now. And so now they will. I mean, they finally started acting halfway decent about things. And things are a lot better today with the media. At least we get treated, respect. That's all I ask. Nick says, how important is Logan Thomas' presence to Carson Wentz? I think a lot because, one, Wentz likes to throw to those positions and spots. And two, another good receiver keeps more people off of Terry. Juan says today's his birthday. Well, happy birthday, Juan. You didn't say how old you were on there. Ayush wants to know what percentage of runs do I think they'll probably get this season? I think it's going to be more pass, so I'll say 42% runs, somewhere in there, 42, 45. If the Commanders is Navy, why not let Popeye the Sailor Man as a mascot and the anchor on Holmes? Okay, I got ready for this one. They want it to be either a hog, a dog. I thought they'd say frog next, but or a superhero or a historical figure. All right, so I have a combination of two. Why can't we have a dog and a superhero? This is Underdog. And for those of you old enough to remember Underdog, 1960s superhero on TV is like Superman. And they go, there's no need to fear. Underdog is here. So I say Underdog should be it. But I don't know. I don't even think they need a mascot. So I don't know why we're talking, why they want one so badly. All right. Chris wants to know how bad is the linebacker. I don't think it's that bad. I take a breath on that one. You're not seeing anything on schemes and all that. And they're going to play a lot of 4-2-5. So I don't think it's as bad. All right. So Drunken wants to know, why do I dye my hair and not my mustache? This is all natural, man. My hair is this dark and my mustache is this. My beard, if I had a beard, it'd be gray on there. So I don't dye my hair. If I did something with my hair, I'd grow more, How do I feel about linebacker Davis? Asked Corey. I just say let's wait another year. Wait another year before we throw him in the fire. Is Jason Wright arguing with the media as a recipe for disaster, as Michael? Yeah, absolutely. You know why? Because they say never fight with people who buy ink by the barrels. Not a smart move. It's okay for them to have criticized. Well, it's not necessarily okay. I would have personally, if I had been the questioner, I would have asked it a little softer. But I'm not going to tell somebody else how to do their business. But you got to treat people a little softer like that at times. Like, hey, listen, it didn't work out in Philly and to trade you, and then for whatever reason, Indy didn't make it work. So how's it going to work here? That's really what you want to know. The back answer is not throwing flame on the guy, but saying, how's it going to turn around here? And that would have been better. I thought Carson answered that question great. I thought the team was inappropriate in how they responded on public. That's where you usually get your PR director. He pulls you in the back of the reporter and says, hey, what the blank is going on? And you work it out. But you don't do it for the amusement of the crowd. Sorry, I'm not here to entertain you that way. You have a stupid video coming out at 9. Now I'll entertain you that way, which shows I've lost my mind. Paul says the defense looks bad. Jack Del Rio on the hot seat. Not yet, but, when they fired Mills, I said, well, I guess anything's possible on this. Steve Parker had a high PFF grade. Never look at PFF grades. So can't help you there, Spanky. Sorry. Jim Dusabella. I believe that one. Tell me where we go to eat wings in Buffalo, if that's the real Jim Dusabella, who was an old beat writer and one of my heroes, great writer. So Gibson continues to fumble. Might they at some point move him to wide receiver and use the Alabama rookie McKissick? He said that's what happened with Charlie Taylor. Absolutely. And I think that absolutely can happen, especially if they have injuries to receiver. You can use Gibson there more. Drunken Donuts must be drunk because he asked, would they trade Chase Young? No. And then Jim says Duff's, and no, we were at the Anchor Bar. So you faker, got you there. Deuce ate 44 wings and took the other 6 home, and they didn't make them back to the hotel with us. Deuce is my hero. Okay, Grandizer back. All right, the mascot dog is still up in the air. A dog, a hog, a hot dog. Yeah, great. Now, underdog. So Chris, the barber, is flying in from Florida for the first game. Very good. I actually was at the Breeders' Cup once covering, because I covered horse racing a lot, in Miami. I was on a 6 a.m. flight from Miami back to Washington to cover the Sunday, game. And I met 2 guys on the flight that every Redskins home game, they would be on the 6 a.m. from Miami, see the game, and then go back home at night. I mean, that's a fan for you. And they did that for years. So it was pretty cool. Paul said, what food did I eat at the stadium? They had broiled chicken with vegetables, and I eat some pretzels. I don't go down to spend money in there. All right, Steve, why do I keep having flashbacks of Kramer taking pictures of George in his underwear on Seinfeld? I don't know. You're going to have to talk to your therapist about that. So Drunken says, am I saying I wouldn't trade Chase for 2 first-round picks? Well, you won't make this trade till after the season, and I've got to see what Chase is going to do first. Maybe if he doesn't play well, but otherwise, not yet. He's, he and Terry are the 2 talents you have. How many games do the Commanders win this year? Asked David. My pick is 10, as long as they're healthy. So bet the over 8. Michael says the mascot will go big in lipstick until they start winning games. Okay, I think it's going to be a hog. I'm not really for it, but I'm not for a lot of stuff. So whatever. Did I drink beer? Asked Paul. No, you're not allowed to drink beer while you're working. I used to work at the racetrack for 5 years. And I had a beer tap next to me, and the writers drank all the time. And I just was like, if I screw up, what am I going to say? I was drinking. So they used to have designated writers. And this is back in the 60s. The guys would tell me about this, that 4 writers, 3 of them would get drunk and bet all day. And a 4th guy would write 4 versions of the feature race. And they would give it to the teletype guy who would send it in. And they would rotate every day who was a designated writer. I mean, wow. You're so fired today if that happens. I do. Yeah. Okay. Thoughts on the O-line up front, asked Dave. Overall, I didn't see any problems. Nobody was on the back. So, so far, so good. I think Chris Paul is going to get a lot of playing time. Rivera seemed to like to talk about him a lot. Grandizer he suggested Dire Wolves. See, I thought Wolves was going to be one of the choices, but I guess they don't want to have that because then they're admitting that maybe they should have named the team Wolves. There's a lot of BS that goes on with this. How much will starters play? Asked Hank against Kansas City. Ron hadn't said yet, but I think maybe a half because I don't think they're going to play the 3rd game. So give them a little more time. I like that they did play a lot this 3rd one. So. And, wow, somebody's even texted me. They took a minute and watch it on live stream. Okay, great. I could use all the people I have. If you see the super chat or super fan button, I think it is below here somewhere. I can't see it, but you can. Hit it. I'm up for tips. I can use some cash. I'm getting old. Need some retirement money. And I appreciate it because, I spent an hour doing this. So if you kind of guilt you into it, whatever. Because I tour guide a lot. We get tips a lot, but I always worry if you tip me, fine. If you don't, that's fine too. Whatever. Okay. Grandizer out. You're getting into history on me now. I can't talk about that. 10 wins. You're right. Yeah. Okay. I can't say that name either. Okay. I'm still getting over a cold. Can't pronounce everything. Who's my surprise player to make the team? Asked David. Man, I hate questions like that because I'm not good at thinking about that. I don't think about it yet. But it might be at running back. Oh, Zach found how to do this. Thank you, Zach. Guilt work. Love the content. Appreciate it. Rich Daniel, did you notice dramatic or any visible improvements at the stadium? Oh, I saw some new duct tape holding rails together. So, no, I didn't. I saw some, fresh paint. They had a bunch of like Commanders logos and things around. It wasn't pretty. It doesn't change the stadium. I mean, there's not a lot you can do on that. It looked clean and looked presentable. Other than that, no, I didn't see anything else. Nick said, if we have a 3-4 win season, given the light schedule, is Rivera on the hot seat? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hank said, it's possible to have Gibson and Robinson split workload. Yeah, and it's a little different than quarterbacks. When you always say if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. You can do it at running back, but it's hard to get a rhythm on some guys. And I think somebody like Robinson, that kind of runner, thrives the more carries you give him. So we'll see. Paul didn't like the white on white uniforms. I agree. I don't like the same color for both. Not that I'm a fashionista to understand any of this, but, I think you should have two different colors. But it didn't look as bad as I thought. All right. Drunken likes, I like when you do your food reviews. You should do more of that. I'm always looking for something different to eat to just, get people going. The new Papa John's pizza, not that I'm their spokesman, is coming out. It's a crustless pizza. And I was like, my wife says, what's that, spaghetti? I said, yeah, it's coming out in about a week or so, where it's just the sauce and the toppings and all. It's like eating a bowl of sauce. But anyway, it's coming out, and I'm going to try the 3, for a video. We'll see what it is. I have no idea what it's going to be like. Granddaughter says, underdog can't be a choice. Do you recall how we transformed an underdog? No, I don't. Was it lightning hitting them, maybe? I mean, I haven't seen underdog in like 50 years. Alex asked, is Patterson making 53? I hate to say this, but probably not on there. It's too bad. All heart. He had a season last year. He did his best. Abe, thanks for the tip. I appreciate that. Thoughts on the O-line? I think it's solid, more so than we would have guessed. I like Schweitzer. I like the left guard out of Carolina. Come on, you know his name, Andrew. Sometimes you get old, man. You can't remember names. I think he's fine. I think it's fine. And I think, Rouillet will be there when it's time. Alex says, which better, stuffed crust Papa John's or Pizza Hut? Pizza Hut. I'm not really a big Papa John's guy. Rick, do you think they should enlarge the size of the cheerleading squad to bring up the attendance? Well, it would, because I think some days they count everybody there. I didn't see any of the men that they always talked about. Maybe they were there and I didn't see them. But they had the cheerleaders back 4 sides again, like they used to around the field. And basically doing the same kind of stuff. I would just say the cheerleaders now dress much more conservatively than they were before all the, everything came out. That's the difference I see there. But I didn't see the guys. But I don't know. Maybe they were there and I just didn't see them. The new band showed up. There were about 60 people. So it's about half the size of the old band. Hey, we got to talk about the song in a minute. Michael says carbs or it's not pizza. Amen to that. I mean, I'm not a huge crust lover, but I think you need some. Did they get rid of the smoke machine? Asked Paul. I haven't seen it. Zach laughed. That's good. I don't know what I said was funny, but fine. Granddaughter said underdog had a ring that had a pill and he would swallow it to get his powers. Okay. And he'd go to a telephone booth to not change in front of everybody. 1960s. Okay. So someone else is older than me. I was a kid. I didn't remember that part, but okay. Chris said, did the Virginia government, give up on the new stadium? No, but they're out of session now till January, so I don't think they're worrying about it right now. B. Finesse says, hi. How you doing? Stephen Parker needs to make this team. I don't know about that. Michael says, greenies. Underdog was popping greenies. And I used to be in the chow line at Carlisle years ago. This is, I guess, the 90s. There used to be these big bowls of different colored pills at the beginning of the chow line where you got your plates and all, where the players and the media ate together. I don't know what those things were. Never tried them. I think one was salt tablets. I don't know the rest. Those things aren't around anymore like that. Kevin wants to, is FedEx still run down? Well, it ain't getting any younger. Say that. So, yeah, it's slowly. It's not RFK, which, RFK, that's like life after people looking at that thing. On RFK, probably end of next year, but there's so much asbestos there that they can't blow up RFK. They've got to dismantle it, which will take much longer, probably more expensive too. Zach wants to know if Sammis Reyes has a chance to make the team. if the tight end room is healthy? I would say no. And he's battling a hamstring himself. It's a nice experiment. It's a feel-good kind of thing. I always was amazed that he made the team for a year. I just don't see him doing it this year. All right, let's stop for a second. The song. What do you think of the song? I mean, I thought B. Mitch said exactly what I thought today. It sounded like you're at a funeral beforehand. They sang it okay, but it sounded like you were pushing the Viking ship off into the river, and firing a flaming arrow at it to finish off the guy and burn it. And I thought, this is it. I mean, they kept the words practically the same, but it's just, the song's supposed to be a happy, moment after touchdown. You want to go, hey, da, 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 da. Not this, it's like an opera or something. And I didn't quite get that. I honestly, you could just have kept the tune, and that would have been fine. Everybody's going to sing Commanders in the stands anyway. Drunken, don't ask questions like that. Let's see. Yeah, so Nick says he's monitoring the asbestos removal. Oh, okay. Well, send me an email later. We'll talk. Millions of dollars of abatement. I'm not surprised there. The soccer fields next to it, I know a few years ago were built in one of the old parking lots, and they were telling me how much it was, like $20 million or something for soil remediation and all that stuff. I mean, toxic things were much different back 50 years ago than now, 60 years ago now. So I'm not surprised by that. So Alex said, yeah, the song's awkward. It should have gone another year. Yeah, I would have been okay, but they wanted to have everything there. All right. Paul says they fixed the field, but the inside of the stadium looks the same. Hate the song. They're fine. Yeah. I just think I wasn't impressed. I mean, even though you should like it because it's the same song virtually, it's just change commander, Redskins and Commanders, and a couple of lines in there. Other than that, it's the same song, but the tune dramatically changed. So she just let the band play it. I thought they had they changed the band around a little more, and it sounds more like a college band with more brass and all. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a different sound. And I love listening to the band. They had a relatively new song out a few years ago. I thought, wow, they're playing newer stuff. All right, so Grandizer, how was Jamin Davis? I think he looked better. He didn't look as lost in space as before. So I would give it a little time. I don't know. Everybody wants everything to be fine. It's only been one game in for this. Rick, James asked, my packing to move? Yes, I'm moving end of October, deeper into Southern Maryland. I bought a really nice home. They're building it. So whenever they're done building it, I'll go. But going to be awesome. I'm going to have a new den, new studio for everything. You'll see different stuff. And some new shows once I have the new room to do. I'm going to have a show called 52 Questions with God, where every week we ask a different question that you wouldn't normally hear in church. And it's going to be hopefully fun. Hopefully Alton will do some of these with me since he's a minister. Alton asked, are most reporters fans of the teams they cover? No, because you're not really supposed to be. That doesn't mean, I grew up in Washington. Who am I rooting for? The Cowboys? There's a bunch of guys covering the team that grew up around here. But you kind of put that type of thing on the whole because you want to be fair-minded. That's the bottom line of our business. Just report the news, be fair-minded, tell people what you think. And then if the team wins, you smile a little inside because, listen, losing players are not happy people to talk to. So I like when they win. I mean, I covered Super Bowl teams, and they were a little easier to deal with. Thanks, James, on that. Yeah, my new house is going to be great. I just saw the basement. It's 3,000 square feet empty. My wife just went, ooh, we could do this. Whew, okay. Who would be the punt and kickoff returner? That is totally open for question, Lee Commander. I don't think – I wouldn't be surprised if they signed somebody. But Dax Milne could be a punt returner. I think he's really good at that. You want a punt returner who catches the ball and goes forward, not looks around, not takes a stutter step, goes forward because you don't have time for anything else. You got to be like B. Mitch. Just be brave, run straight ahead. Drunken wants to know, who is the best quarterback Washington's ever had in its history? Well, they always say Sammy Ball. The Sammy Ball is considered the best player also, not because he was a great quarterback who had changed the game, but he was also a great punter and defensive back. Whereas Sonny, I think, was the best quarterback if we just want to go that way. Sonny was awesome. I would say him. All right, Nick, being in RFK and seeing a bunch of letters and tickets from the 60s lay around and not being able to take them home is saddening. Oh, all right. Well, there are ways to do things. But Michael says Kime is from Ohio. Yeah, Kime is one of my best friends and a wonderful man. So he's well worth following every day because I'm not there every day anymore, but he is. And John lives this thing, and he does a great job with it. We've been partners. Wrote a couple books together years ago. We were both at the Washington Examiner until it folded for a few years together. So I ride with John all the way. Trump wants to say what I think of Trump, dude. I never talk about politics of any kind on this show. I did a video the other day. I just happened to see the vice president go down Constitution Avenue in the motorcade, and I took a short video just to show people what it was like. You guys are mean, man. Whew. All right. Paul Green, would Dotson do some punts or kickoff returns? Only if they need him to. I mean, if nothing else works, yeah. I mean, D Green once, ran one back. So you never know. But that's not what you want a starter to be doing. Do I remember Sammy Ball playing Grandizer? Nah, I wasn't into football back then. So, let's see. Delaney asked me, since I have a lot of tweets about Lincoln's assassination, what part interests you the most? So some of you wouldn't know this, but on my mother's side, I'm related to John Wilkes Booth, the assassin, and also on my father's side to Mary Surratt, another one who was hung. Mary Surratt's last words, don't let me fall. But I don't know. That's a good question. I do tours starting in September again on Monumental Thoughts. You'll see. We do a Lincoln assassination walk. I'll do a couple of them. It's all that you can stand there where everything happens is really amazing in a way, where I can take you. All right, Alex said, which player gives the Washington biggest headaches that wasn't in the division? Mike Allstott, yeah. And the Philly tight end starts with an A. He killed tight ends always kill them. Alton once said, did I work much with Rich Tandler? I gave Rich Tandler his start in the business. He came to me asking how to write a book about the team, and I gave him some suggestions. He went out there and did an exhaustive research on every game ever. He did a great job. He worked for me at the magazine I still run called The Command Post. Do I have that around here? No, I have it. Command Post, if you Google it, is about the team. Comes out once a month. I don't own it. I just run it. And then he worked really hard and got a big break and did TV. And just talking about him the other day. Really sad that Rich had to pass away like that. The great Watubi, do you think the Commanders make the playoffs this year with the weaker schedule? Yes. I mean, there's now, 7 teams that make it? I'll say yes. 10 wins, you should make it. Bob Baker many of you know, used to be with this team. What's my take on Doc Walker? I didn't get to hear it. I heard about it all the time, and people said, man, Doc was ready to fight the war himself and go beat up 11 guys on the field. I heard it was pretty awesome, but I was at the game, so I wasn't listening to it. But Doc's a great guy. So, and you can learn a lot of football listening to Doc. Let's see. Carson, Nick wants to know if Carson goes down, would I just go to Sam Howell instead of Heineke? A lot depends on a lot of things. But I think Heineke is a great reliever and spot starter. So I might go to him, but would say you're talking about their 3-10 at that point. Then I would go to Howell. So we'll just have to see. If it happens in the opener, you go to Heineke. At what point does Jack Del Rio's job go in jeopardy by Ron? Asked Chris. It would take a disaster for it to happen, I think. David thought Doc was great. Paul asked, any word on the new name for Indian Head Highway? They did not change it because the state of Maryland said we're not changing it to Obama Highway. One thing, it costs a lot of money to change road signs and all. That's what they said. We're not doing it. So I don't think they're changing the name at all. Okay, so OGDMB. Where can I find you on game day? Oh, that's a secret. Love a bit. Contact me before the next home game in a few weeks. Maybe we'll meet down the Hall of Fame store on the concourse because you can't get up to where I am in the press box. Okay, but yeah, to reach out that week on Twitter, maybe Snide_remarks. That's my Twitter handle. You should be following me. I don't tweet a lot. Let's see. Silly Goose. Ooh, love that one. Who's more talented, Bruce Springsteen or Justin Bieber? I am not a big Springsteen guy. I mean, I don't deny that he is talented and great, but I am not a big Springsteen guy, nor can I tell you much about Justin Bieber. So on that level, I will say Springsteen. the voice of a generation. I don't. It just wasn't my guy. Just like I was, more of a Beatles and a Stones guy. That's all subjective. Kevin wants to know what's the record? 10-7. Easy enough. Let's see. Nathan, so is Warren Sapp an assistant coach? No. I think he's just trying to learn a little something here. He has some, coaches don't let people just come in and be assistants on the field and all this stuff unless you know them. So that's something Ron's doing as a favor, which he did for Kerrigan. Haven't heard if there's going to be an update about Kerrigan staying, given the D-line coach left. Don't know yet. I think it's up to both sides. Bobby asked what happened to Joe T. He's not doing preseason games. He couldn't work it out this year on the schedule. Don't know why, but that's what he said. Alex says, best camp prank you ever seen? There was an intern once that he had fallen, and the training staff claimed that he had broke his arm and put it in a cast. And a few days later, they finally told him no. Just put a cast on him for fun. So imagine that. You're half relieved your arm's not broken, and you're half mad about that. That was a pretty funny one. After the preseason game, you don't think the team makes the playoffs, Alligator? Give it a little more time. Give it another week. This week against Kansas City will be an interesting one. What's the out-of-division record, asked Steve? I'll say they're 4-2 in the division, so that makes them 6 and whatever out of the division. Do the math. 6-5 or something like that. I don't know. Zach wants to know, did Ryan Kerrigan have a headset on in the last game? Don't know. I can only see so much. Bozer, do you think any of the 3 quarterbacks have potential to actually be good? I think I like Hal. I think he's a gamer. I think he'll be okay. Mark my words. He will start this league somewhere. And certainly Carson can do that too. And Heineke's, gives you 110%. He could do it too. I like their quarterbacks this year. I think they're deep. Okay. Let's see. Alex, who are the 3 fastest players in Washington history? See, questions like that kill me, man, because I have to sit there and really think. I mean, okay, D. Green. I once saw Clinton Portis race against LaRon Landry. They were yelling at each other coming off the practice field all the way to the locker room. This is back when Jim Zorn was coach. We're talking to Zorn, and all of a sudden we see the 2 of them come out. They get out to the artificial turf field, and they run the 100 yards. And Landry smoked them, if I remember right. And even normally teams would be upset with that. You could pull a hammy or something. And Zorn we're all just sort of watching it. So, man, Landry was a lot faster. I think Sean Taylor's probably really fast, too, in the end. Drunken, you're killing me, man. Live a better life. Silly Goose, what's the best Stones album? I'll go Exile on Main Street, too. Okay. Let's see. YouTube guidelines. Your channel is under investigation for illegal activity. What the heck is that? No idea what that is. Or if that's anybody. Maybe it's somebody that's faking. I'm not doing anything illegal. Okay. Champ Bailey was really fast, too. Yeah. Smooth. All right. You think the interview with Wentz calling out accuracy was fair? Asked Nathan. Yeah, I think the question could have been asked a little differently, but the point is, yes. It's not an inaccurate statement on all of this. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. All right, let's see. So somebody's here trying to do stupid stuff, and so I'll just remove them. And why people have to come out and just do this stupid stuff, I don't know. Just takes away from get a life. And sad. Let me say I put that one out, and then hopefully we're done with this. I'm going to put the user in a timeout, they say. Woo. All right, so Deuce, who memory is probably better than mine, says Ozzie Clay and Bobby Mitchell were fast, is all. I don't know about Ozzie Clay. Bobby certainly I know was. All right, Grandizer. Why did Washington cut Bo? He just fell off the roster, When is Scott Turner going to change play calling? Asked Paul. Well, he's not in the preseason. He's not. So, that's the other part of that. You're not going to get any of it. Somebody else that wants to just do this stuff. Yeah, it's so amazing how people are just want to sit here and be jerks. If they keep it up, then I gotta go to like a special way of doing this, and you guys won't be happy. All right, the defense is not aggressive enough, says the great Watubi. Um, yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that overall. Okay, yeah, the bots are doing stuff. And he says, "Oh, I can make new accounts." Yeah, that's true, and I can just block all of them too. So whatever, dude. If you spend your time loving making being a jerk, then be a jerk. I don't know how this happens. That oh, if there's a moderator, Michael, yeah, let's talk after this. Maybe you can help me with that. Send me a note on YouTube or Twitter. Silly Goose couldn't Washington choose their 70 and 07 uniforms, the helmet with the circle. Yeah, yeah, I guess they wanted to break from the past though. All right, what happened to the girl from Penn State? It's supposed to face Instagram. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I didn't, ask. What do I think? Joe Jacoby should be in the Hall of Fame? Yeah, this is just crazy, man. This guy is just saying just offensive things. If I cover a decade of Washington sports, which one would I cover? 70s was good because the Redskins made the playoffs almost every year. The Wiz or the Bullets were great. Caps weren't anything back then, but I mean, you got two there. We had no baseball, but two of the three were really great. Okay, so where are we at? Oh, it's 8:37. All right, we got 23 minutes. What's Scott Turner going? When is he going to change the plays? Baseball, not in preseason. You don't show anything preseason. They're afraid. I was surprised they showed as much as they did. Which coach did I enjoy interviewing the most? Asked Alton. I liked Norv a lot. So Norv was cool. On there, I guess there was a few guys I didn't like. I didn't really like. Didn't like Shane. Didn't like. Personally deal with, and Marty Schottenheimer was kind of tough to deal with. Love Zorn as a person. Ball coach was kind of fun at times. He could be difficult too. A lot of them can be. It just depends on where they came before and what the media did there. We tend to be a little tougher than some media markets, and probably not as tough as others. So, coaches have to adjust to us as much as we do them. I think you always have to respect the coach and not be a smart, aleck with things. So it has to work both ways. And most coaches respect the media. Okay, Kevin, why do we let good young coaches go to other teams? Because, they had head coaches at the time. So, that's just what they have to do. They couldn't hold on to them because they weren't around. So, this guy, if he keeps doing all this stuff, next time I'm just going to have to go to where I have to let you in and all that stuff. All right, when do you think Chase will actually return? Says Silly Goose. I think he misses at least 6 games. It's kind of funny. He was talking about how fast he could run now, and you go, wow. But yeah, ACLs are also about, changing gears and shifting. And if you move your knee the wrong way, or losing that would cost you the rest of the season. So you have to be careful. And you got to remember, ball players today are $1 million investments for teams, so they're more reluctant. Do I think Wentz underthrew too many deep balls? Yeah. I mean, I think I remember a couple offhand. He only missed 3, but most of them were dink and dunks. Let's see. What was my choice for the new Washington organization? I would have liked the Sentinels, like the Tomb of the Unknown. But I didn't really care. I was glad to be done with Washington football team. Palmer said, what running backs make the team? The 4. I think they'll go to 4 deep, as you would, the usual suspects. Fastest player on the team now? I asked Kevin. Maybe Dynami Brown. I know he's pretty fast. I don't know if anybody's settled that yet. Which Commander's uniform do I like best? Alex asked. I like the burgundy. I don't like the black at all. Black at all reminds me of the Steelers, the Raiders. Doesn't remind me of Washington on there. Which historical figure would I take? Ask OG DMD. I don't know, because see, I think Teddy has been unfairly, maligned by the Nationals with what they did, and Teddy was one of our great presidents. So I don't really want to, and since the Nats are doing that, I don't think you do it with the Commanders. God, Drunken, you're gonna end up having to go away too in a minute. Some of you guys, you just ask a lot. Oh, we got quite a few people on today. Great. We're doing this every Monday, 8 to 9, long as we don't get caught by these spammers and stuff. Rate the 3 Super Bowl champion teams, Jacob asked. All right, 91 was the best. 83 over 87, I would say. Isaac was around. Thanks, Isaac. Appreciate it. There's always that super fan button you can hit on there. Yeah, 91 was great. And then that was like the last ride for everybody, like Grim retired after the game. And man, 2 years later, they're horrible. Everybody got old and, just all talk about how fast the Nationals went from, World Series champs to nothing. Well, so did the Redskins. They went from Super Bowl champs and they really could have gone undefeated that year. Lost a couple close games that they didn't sweat. And then 2 years later, they're, 4-12, I believe. Yeah, and I remember somebody asking Pettibone, can you believe it? This team has changed this much in 18 months? And everybody just kind of got old and went away. What do I think of the Brittany Griner situation? Trade a Russian to get her back? I'll leave that to the big boys, but I mean, she's unfairly being persecuted here, and it's pretty obvious what's going on. So I hope that they let her out, and whatever they got to do, I guess. What's the biggest threat to Washington in the NFC East? Says Zach. That's a good question. I'll say Dallas, but could be Philly, and not the Giants. Paul said, interview Darryl Green. Yeah, for about 10 years of his career, I saw him almost every day. Love Darryl, great guy, does some great stuff out there today. We still talk now and then. Good guy. Has a coach or team exec ever been mad about a story you've written? Oh yeah, Ryan. Far too many times. But we worked it out. Nobody ever held a grudge. I mean, I had coaches curse me out sometimes, and I'm not afraid to come back at you. I grew up in Accokeek, if any of you know that in Washington, what that means. It means we don't take no crap. You can't. You can't in a newspaper. You do what you think is the right thing to do, and you live with it. What do I think of the Ukraine-Russian situation? I think it's bad. Glad you asked that one. Is Ron's energy back up to pre-cancer level? I don't know. He's certainly come back a long ways from it. I really admired how tough he was, because he really had a hard road there. So I give him a lot of credit for that. And it's in my new book, the 100 Things Commanders. When you see, I have a whole chapter, one of the new chapters about Ron, another one about, several different things on there. Alex's injury, that stuff. So we'll talk about that as it gets closer. Book will be out in a month. How long will the DBs play 7 yards off the line? Yeah, I kind of wonder, Robert. I'd like to see them go more man. I think they have the people that can do the man better. Zone is hedging your bets, and it hasn't worked as well. What 3 receivers do you like versus now? I don't know, Willie. That's hard to say. Can I tell the Snyder Vanilla ice cream story? Okay, so Mike Nolan's a defensive coordinator. They're not doing very well. This is one of the earliest years of Snyder's regime, so he's still doing dumb stuff like that. And after I lost, Snyder had a big gallon of vanilla ice cream sitting on Nolan's desk and thought it was really funny. Whatever. He doesn't do that stuff anymore. I mean, he's grown somewhat as an owner. Do we still interview players in the locker room? Just back in now. They just, the COVID rules finally dropped this past weekend. So we don't do it after practice because there's like 90 players right now, so there's not room. But after games, it did. And then after cutdowns, the media will be back in the locker rooms direct during the weekday practices. Thoughts on Mathis, asks Nick. Well, Mathis, massive dude. I thought he made some nice plays in the opener. Can push in. I think he's a good, valuable backup. Will he be a starter? I don't know, but I think he's a nice player. Do I remember Desmond Howard? He's sure. Oh, sure, absolutely. Yes, so he goes. And they both were bust picks. Yeah, you're right about that. What do I think the weakest position on the team is? I asked the great Watubi. Kick returner. Say that. That didn't look good. And after that, I guess you would say linebacker. I mean, overall, it's not too bad a team. Not a lot of great players, but I think they've improved. There are more happens behind the scenes with the active beat writers and team execs and people get to know. And no, not really. I mean, we don't live with each other all the time. We don't even talk to each other a lot. It's a working relationship. It's not a problem. It's better now because we used to not be able to talk to him at all for a long time. But Jason Wright's opened things up a lot. Chris Ball edging Sadiq for the spot. SOG. Yeah, I think so. I think Chris Ball is going to get that spot. Nick's going to get up early. Oh, come on. Well, you got a big job, so okay. Does Hal be that Heineke for the backup spot? I'll say no at this point. Silly Goose, how does Joey Sly look in practice? Okay. You don't see a lot of field goal. You don't see a lot of kicking in practice. All right. So John's one comment away from me just saying about him. Who are your favorite announcers for football? I like Collinsworth a lot, and I'm sorry they broke up that team. I like Troy. I think Troy gives you some insight. I don't listen to the AFC games as much, over on CBS because I'm more of an NFC guy if I'm not watching Commanders. What's the gas price? Asked DB. Well, I don't know where you are, but where I am, it's about $3.80 something. It's a little cheaper in Waldorf than a lot of other parts of town. Do I have a favorite stadium or least favorite when covering the team? Asked Ryan. More cities were favorites than anything. Gosh, there's so many new palaces you have, but I love going to Arizona. Just so cool. Go see that different, nice town. So I loved Arizona. Miami's cool because I love Miami. It's kind of like I love the stadiums because I love the towns. Hated going to Oakland. I hated their stadium. That was old. Michael, would John's voice make the fight song listenable? Yeah, probably. What was the best place to eat in Frostburg? Duncan's was a bar. Well, I don't know. It was an Italian place around the corner, and it's gone too. I forget. What made me decide to go YouTube channel? Asked Duncan or Drunken. Because the layoff cost me several of my big clients, and I didn't have as much work, and I just thought, let's try this. I do make a couple bucks off of this, so I just thought it'd be a fun way to interact. Rich Taylor kind of taught me a lot about customer service, which we don't normally talk about much in the media business. But Rich was right, and that's why so many of you liked him. He was a restaurant manager before he came into the media at like 55. And he showed me that. So that's kind of what I'm doing here is reaching out and letting you guys connect. And hopefully you watch my other stuff or read my stories. And if you don't, well, all right. Or hit the next button. All right. Long-time overnight radio host Bob Kemp retired in Arizona. Okay. I don't know him. When will Sean Taylor be in the Ring of Fame? I thought he already is on that, Kevin. And yeah, all right. Any tips on getting into the sports media? Go find a real job and make real money. Don't do this. Really, as a young person, I don't know how you're going to get into sports writing anymore. It's just the jobs markets and the media markets are going to hell, So I wouldn't recommend it. I had two daughters that went into the media, and they're both out of it now with better jobs. Let's see. Boulder, for the stadium, we prefer you build it in Sterling because you live well. Everybody lives. We want it near where you are. I just think Dumfries or Woodbridge like you. Nah. Silly Ghost, who would win an arm wrestling competition, Ron or Jack? Jack. Jack's a pretty strong looking guy. Have I ever talked to Dan Snyder in person? Yeah, absolutely. I think Dan Snyder is an introvert who doesn't really like talking to people, and especially when he can't control the narrative. But I had Dan's cell phone number in the very beginning. He reached out to me, wanted to be friends, all that kind of stuff. Then I wrote what I wrote, and he got mad at me, and we don't talk. And he hasn't talked to a member of the media in years. It's not somebody he can control. He's a lot like you, I think, as you think, is probably a fair, accurate assessment of him. Well, he does have a good side. Let me just say this. Dan Snyder, I know, has helped so many people who have been critically ill and taking care of getting them doctors and all. You'd be amazed. He raises millions of dollars for Children's Hospital. His private plane is given to people to help them. He's paid for funerals, like Chief Z's paid for that. So, there's everybody has something good about them, and certainly Dan Snyder does too. How far am I from the baseball stadium in Waldorf, Paul? 10 minutes. Yeah, Blue Crabs. I haven't been in a while. So I think Marv Albert. Oh, good Lord. Okay. Michael Gannett just got laid off a bunch of people. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, it's hard to. People see the media, top people on TV and all making the money, but most of the guys, it's a tough living. I was lucky. To be in a good age. I started just a few years after Watergate. So I had a good career, and it's about done because we all get old. But we'll see how long I last. I don't know. What's the new mascot be, DJ? I think it's got to be a hog. I don't really think they should have one. What do I think of Doc Walker? I covered Doc Walker, BH, I think 1 year. Doc's a great guy. Listen, you give me 53 Docs and Brian Mitchells. Forget the Super Bowl. I'll go conquer a country. They're warriors, and I like warriors. Zach wants to know let's see, does Adam Schefter get info from the team? Yeah. Well, all reporters do. I don't like talking about Adam. Great. What Tubi thinks Doc is more entertaining than Joe? Probably because Joe should give my eulogy because I know he'll say something nice about me. I mean, that's Joe. Favorite defensive lineman in the NFL? Aaron Donald. So goes, if you could pass, how much do you think guys Santana, Moss, and Logan Paulson would make today? Santana would make top dollar among receivers. He'd be up there with the rest of them. Best Eastern Motors commercial. OGS. Yeah, at Eastern Motors, your job's your credit. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They're all. I can sing the whole song. You don't want to hear it, but I could. How long starters play at KC? Asked Paul. I haven't said yet, but I'm going to guess a half. Great Watubi tip. Thanks. Great Watubi. Appreciate it. What's Riggins doing lately? He's got a podcast, and I haven't seen him around the park in quite a while. Is the Jacksonville game a must-win? Andrew asked. Yes. Lose that game, you're fighting your way uphill all year. Do you think the fans will show up more if Washington wins? Absolutely. That's how it works. Terry signed every autograph, literally hugging fans. Good dude, says Mac. Yeah, Terry's a great guy. Really stand up, great guy. I have nothing bad to say there. Do you think we'll have any Pro Bowlers this year? It depends on how many games you win. You win more games. But the problem they're going to have with the Pro Bowl is this team doesn't have very much primetime games. And that's when the other players in the league are watching you. And if you have a great game, especially near the voting, that carries over among the other players. And since they don't have many of those, that's going to be much harder for them to get in. But I would think John Allen will be in. Tress Way should be in. He's a great punter on there. Let's see. Drunken says, all right, Drunken, you're forgiven. Whatever. I'll see you next week. Paul, if Gibson fumbles in Kansas City, they bench him or trade him. Well, I don't think they trade him, but yeah, I think that's the end of that. If the team's out of the gate 4-1, the stadium will be filled like 2012 or 15. Don't know filled. There's a lot of hard resentment, but there would be a lot more people. Maybe you're not outnumbered by visiting fans all the time. That would be nice. Do I think Chase Young is a bust? Asked Kevin. No, it's way too early to say that. Show me this year. Really, show me this year, next year, and I'll let you know. Michael said, no one's going to trade, but you're right. James Howard tip. Thank you, James. I appreciate it. I'll be able to, getting old. I can always use this just for paying for the hour. All right. Will the weather getting hotter every year? Should the NFL consider starting their season at the end of September? Nah, I think that's pretty much, I wish they started a week earlier on Labor Day, but they don't like to. But you get to these cold places. Problem is in the playoffs, you can't control who makes the playoffs. And suddenly you're playing, these Chicago, Green Bay, Philly, and snow could just wreck you. So I don't think it should go any later. Do I get a lot of Commanders content creators to reach out to collab with them? No, but if anybody asks me to come on their podcast, I try to. Who would I like to play cards with? Asked David Rogers. Whew, yeah, they used to play cards a lot, and they used to play dominoes a lot in the old days in the locker room. Everybody's much more of a businessman now. I like to play with Rigo. That'd be interesting in the old days. DJ says, "Hey man, that was stripper money. Hey, whatever. I'll wait till you see the video I'm dropping. As soon as we finish this, I'm going to drop it on YouTube and my Twitter account. You're going to laugh. It's a short 30-second one, but you're going to laugh. Playoffs. Yeah, you're right. What's my Wizards prediction this season? Pain, Mac. I don't know that they win 40 games. They're another big player away. Been one big player away for a while. Let's see. Did I like the Jay Gruden regime? I thought Jay was a decent coach. He was interfered with a bit by the front office too much. He didn't want to draft Haskins. So when your owner does things like that to you as a coach, it's tough to make things work on there. James said, "Hey, I love Rick. That's an image I want to unsee now." Yeah, wait till you see the video in a minute. You're going to be covering your eyes and asking for mercy. Let's just say OnlyFans. I didn't know what OnlyFans was when I first got into this, and quickly learned. So, you'll see something you can't unsee. Let's see. Do I think Jacoby, Jerry Smith, Pat Fisher, B. Mitch ever get in the Hall of Fame? I think Jacoby will. And maybe B. Mitch. B. Mitch deserves it, absolutely. They bring in new kickers, or they staying with Joey? Asked Paul. Stay with Joey. Yeah, miss another one. Then we're got to talk about things. I mean, they just spent the middle of the week saying, "Oh, nowadays Joey Sly's so good. We know he's going to make these kicks." He goes out and misses the first extra point. Seriously, that was nuts. Who's my favorite Three Stooges member? Curly, Larry, or Mo? I liked Mo because Mo could really, get everybody up. Shemp was cool. Oh, God, here comes guy again. I guess he wanted to have some more fun. Put him out. Why? Why do people do stuff like this? You moron. Okay. Does Gibson have a lack of vision? I don't think that's the problem. He just doesn't seem to secure the ball very well. Doing things. All right, where are we at? 8:58. Yeah, I'm going to spend all day. Has FedEx had any big improvements? I don't think so. I think you put some new paint up and stuff like that, but I didn't see the whole stadium. Maybe there's something nicer elsewhere. Paul asked, will Washington cut Heineke if they value wide receiver or tight end more? See what the offer is, Whatever the offer is, that's when anything's for sale, as they say. Anything's for sale. So let's see. Texas governor shipping people here. I don't know. That's somebody else's problem. When you get older, you really don't care about the world's problems as much. It's now time for the next generation to fight that out. Love this country. Hope we don't destroy it. I worry about that a little bit. But I have to worry about other things too. Will they try to sign Payne for next year or let him go? Asked the great Watubi. I think they will re-sign him. I think he's played better every year. He's a good inside player, unless he's just unhappy here. And they changed coaches, so maybe, if that was a problem in the past, it won't be now. So I think they will. When is Logan Thomas coming back, asked Paul? I don't know. It seems encouraging. At this point, I'm still thinking maybe, sometime in September. But never quite sure until they get back. All right, so Grandizer has to run. Thanks for coming. There's the bell ringing just for you. And it is 9 o'clock Eastern, so I'll ask the last couple questions that come up here, I guess. But now I got to go post that stupid video that all of y'all are going to go, "Oh, my God, Rick, have you lost your mind?" Worst teams I've ever covered in my career. Oh man, I don't know. That's a long list. I've covered a few on there. All right, so that's coming up. Go over to Twitter. You can see, all kind of stuff. My usual stuff during the day. I don't tweet a lot, but you can see the daily videos usually around 7 in the morning and 7 at night, more or less. Do a couple of days, sometimes more. So I, keep trying to post for you guys. Doing Mondays for those of you out there. We're doing Mondays. If you missed any of all of this, you can watch it on replay. It'll be up in a couple minutes. As soon as it's over, they'll put it up, and they can do it. So, there's everybody saying thanks. I appreciate it. You guys were great. Nobody else in media is really doing this. I think somebody, from what I've seen, but they all follow things. I bet this is something beat writers do as a norm 5 years from now. I mean, people do stuff, but I don't think they do it like this. 5 years from now, this will be like mandatory. I think everybody will be doing their own 2-minute videos. So, all right. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Mark, or Hank, and Steve. I feel like Romper Room, for any of you remember that. I see Bobby and Peter and Gene, that kind of thing. So we're out of here. Yeah, did an extra few minutes. Thanks, everybody, for coming, and I'll see you next Monday. And I'll see you otherwise every day. And Odyssey.com, 1067 The Fan. Is where I write my columns a couple times a week. And other than that, we're out. See ya.